Have you ever wondered why the Israel-Palestine conflict, one of the world's longest ongoing political disputes, has proven to be so resilient to resolution? This is a question that has intrigued many as the conflict continues to shape global politics and stir heated debates. The Israel-Palestine conflict is not just a regional issue, but a global conundrum shrouded in layers of intricacy and controversy. To truly grasp the extent of this dispute and the controversies that surround it, we must delve into its roots. The Israel-Palestine conflict did not happen overnight. It's a struggle with roots deep in history. Now, let's delve into the origins of this enduring conflict, beginning with the birth of Zionism in the late 19th century. Zionism was a movement born from the desire of Jewish people to establish a homeland. In the face of growing anti-Semitism across Europe, Jews sought a refuge. This idea gained momentum and started to shape the future of the region we now know as Israel and Palestine. Fast forward to the early 20th century, a document known as the Balfour Declaration of 1917 became a critical milestone in this narrative. Authored by Arthur Balfour, the UK's Foreign Secretary at the time, this declaration announced British support for the establishment of a national home for the Jewish people in Palestine. This was a land still under British control. The declaration, however, did not consider the political rights of the Arab majority living in Palestine, which stoked the embers of discord. In the subsequent decades, Jewish migration to Palestine increased dramatically, fueled by the horrors of the Holocaust. The land was divided between Jewish settlements and Arab communities, each with their own unique cultures, histories, and claims to the land. The pivotal moment arrived in 1948 with the establishment of the State of Israel following a United Nations partition plan. This plan proposed a division of the land into separate Jewish and Arab states, with Jerusalem under international administration. However, the proposal was met with resistance, especially from the Palestinian Arabs and the surrounding Arab states. They viewed this as an imposition on their rights and a disregard for their majority in the region. The declaration of Israel's statehood sparked a war, with neighboring Arab states launching a military intervention. This year, 1948, marked a significant turning point in the conflict. The seeds sown over the previous half-century had now grown into a full-blown confrontation, setting the stage for a long and complicated struggle that still continues today. The creation of Israel in 1948 was a joyous occasion for some, but a catastrophe for others. This statement encapsulates the deep divide and tumultuous aftermath that followed the establishment of Israel. In the wake of this historic decision, the region erupted into the 1948 Arab-Israeli War. This conflict saw the newly formed Israeli state pitting itself against a coalition of Arab nations who refused to recognize Israel's sovereignty. The war resulted in a decisive Israeli victory, but it was far from a peaceful resolution. The conflict left deep scars and set the stage for decades of animosity and strife. As the dust of warfare settled, the displacement of Palestinians became a significant and heart-wrenching aftermath. An estimated 700,000 Palestinians were either expelled from their homes or fled during the war. This mass exodus, known as the Nakba or catastrophe, has been a source of enduring controversy and pain. The displaced Palestinians and their descendants, even today, yearn for their homeland, their longing echoing through the generations. In the midst of this turbulent period, the region was again thrown into chaos with the Suez Crisis of 1956. This event, sparked by the nationalization of the Suez Canal by Egypt's President Nasser, brought the Middle East to the brink of another major conflict. The crisis was a stark reminder of the volatile geopolitical landscape and the delicate balance of power in the region. These events had a profound impact on the people involved and the region as a whole. The establishment of Israel, the war, the displacement of Palestinians, and the Suez Crisis have all left indelible marks on the canvas of history. These events have not only shaped the political landscape of the Middle East, but have also deeply affected the lives of countless individuals, their stories woven into the complex tapestry of the Israel-Palestine conflict. These events set the stage for further conflict and tension. As we move forward, we'll delve deeper into how this cycle of conflict continues, shaping and reshaping the contours of the Israel-Palestine issue. What followed was a series of wars, each escalating the conflict further. A pivotal moment in this relentless cycle was the Six-Day War of 1967. A short but impactful conflict, it saw Israel take control of the Gaza Strip and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. These territorial gains significantly shifted the power dynamics in the region, intensifying the discord. Then came the Yom Kippur War of 1973. It was on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in Judaism, that a coalition of Arab states led by Egypt and Syria launched a surprise attack on Israel. Despite the initial shock, Israel managed to repel the attack, but the war resulted in heavy casualties on both sides. This war served to further deepen the mistrust and hostility between the opposing sides. Following these wars, the Intifadas arose as a series of Palestinian uprisings against Israeli occupation. The first Intifada, starting in 1987, was characterized by civil disobedience, strikes, and protests. The second Intifada, beginning in the year 2000, was far more violent, with suicide bombings and military operations marking a darker chapter in the conflict's history. The consequences of the Intifadas were profound, leading to considerable loss of life, economic hardship, and increased polarization between Israelis and Palestinians. These events, the Six-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, and the Intifadas, have each played a significant role in shaping the present state of the Israel-Palestine conflict. They have not only redrawn borders and disrupted countless lives, but have also deeply ingrained the conflict within the collective psyches of both Israelis and Palestinians. Each of these wars left scars that are yet to heal. The cycle of conflict continues, and each new confrontation only serves to further entrench the divide. As we delve into the present scenario in our next segment, we'll examine the current state of affairs and the ongoing challenges in the quest for a lasting peace. Fast forward to today, where does the conflict stand? The Israel-Palestine conflict, as we know it now, has evolved into a complex situation with many layers. At the heart of it all lies the city of Jerusalem, a place of profound significance for both Israelis and Palestinians. In recent years, the status of Jerusalem has been a contentious point of debate, with both sides asserting their claims over it. Israel proclaims the entire city as its undivided capital, while Palestinians envisage East Jerusalem as the capital of their future state. Adding fuel to this already inflamed situation are the issues of settlements. Israeli settlements in the West Bank and East Jerusalem, lands that Palestinians see as part of their future state, have been a cause of immense friction. The international community views these settlements as illegal, yet their expansion continues, escalating tensions and diminishing prospects for peaceful resolution. Beyond the local players, the role of international actors cannot be overlooked. Countries around the globe have their stakes and interests rooted in this conflict. Some have tried to mediate peace, while others have taken sides, further complicating the situation. The United Nations, despite numerous resolutions, has been largely unsuccessful in bringing about a lasting solution. The complexities involved are immense. It's not merely a territorial dispute, but one deeply intertwined with religious sentiments, national identities, and historical narratives. Each side carries its own version of history, its own truth, its own pain. The grievances are deeply felt, the mistrust runs deep, and the wounds of the past are still fresh. With every passing day, the conflict continues to morph, presenting new challenges. The road to peace is fraught with obstacles, and the path is not clear. It's a labyrinth of political maneuvering, diplomatic deadlocks, and ever-changing geopolitical dynamics. Navigating this labyrinth requires not just political will, but also empathy, understanding, and a shared vision for a peaceful coexistence. Until such a time comes, the conflict continues to simmer, its resolution remaining elusive. The Israel-Palestine conflict is a complex web of history, politics, and emotions. We've journeyed through over a century of history, but what have we learned? This question brings us to the pivotal point of our discussion. The Israel-Palestine conflict is not merely a spat between neighbors, but a complex issue rooted deeply in history. The seeds of this conflict were sown with the nationalistic aspirations of two peoples, both yearning for a homeland in the same geographic space. As we've seen, the aftermath of crucial events, such as the Balfour Declaration and the Six-Day War, has reverberated through the decades, shaping the current landscape of the conflict. Each event has left indelible marks, cementing the divide and fueling a cycle of violence and retribution. The present scenario is an intricate tapestry of political, religious, and cultural threads, further complicated by external influences and internal fractures. The complexities of this state of affairs are daunting, but they must be acknowledged to fully grasp the essence of the conflict. This brings us to the essence of our discussion. Understanding the Israel-Palestine conflict requires a balanced perspective, acknowledging the legitimate claims and grievances of both sides. Only with such understanding can we hope for a just and lasting peace. By recognizing the narratives of both sides, we can foster an environment conducive to dialogue and ultimately to the resolution of this long-standing dispute.